And also my friend, Honorable Adams. Please put your hands together for him. I've been chasing him all over the place with the phone. He's been out of the country. I told him, whatever you do, you must land in this place today. He was saying, sis, I'm not sure. Then he said, dodging my call. But you know, when you go down your knees, anything you won't happen. So I just want to say thank you so much. You know, he had actually offered us this place last year, but COVID didn't allow us to use it. And you know, he could have said, well, that offer is passed. But as soon as I asked, he said yes. Not only that, we actually had all sort of conditions that we gave him, places that he wanted to give us, changed it, everything. He said yes. I want this, he said sis, yes. Anything else, yes. Everything that we wanted, he put. In fact, the whole of Loving Lake industry today has been just for us. I say another very, very big thank you. We really do appreciate this. Because I know how much it costs if we had to rent this place out. So I just needed to have that brief introduction to talk about it. Anytime people do things for us, no matter how little it is, it might seem, it needs to be appreciated. It really needs to be appreciated. Because I know how much it is we paid for our last venue. So that's why I said thank you very much. And so we have our panel. Before I would introduce them. But I also have to say thank you to Nigeria Travel Week FA. Beach Samaritans has this program, Beach Conference and Chill. And we decided this year to team up with our good, wonderful friends at Nigeria Travel Week. Now, when you have a partner, we said, don't worry, we'll do it on our own. In fact, he's taking over whatever it is that we're doing. What are you doing? To support. What are you doing? To support. What are you doing? To support. Support and do even more and even beyond. Thank you so much. We really, really, really do appreciate you. Really do appreciate you. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
Thank you, Green Queen. Would you give a round of applause to the Green Queen? Thank you, everybody, for coming. So we invited you to a beach conference and chill. It's like we've all had the chill first, right? Now we have to have the conference. So this beach conference, as you have heard, is part of Nigeria Travel Week. So this is the first event for this year's Nigeria Travel Week. And the Nigeria Travel Week is a week-long event that showcases, it talks about Nigerian tourism and travel and personalities. And Nigeria Travel Week is, on this panel we have Mr. Awofeso Awana, who's the founder of Nigeria Travel Week and will be speaking today. Also on this panel we have Mr. Honorable Adams, who is our host and who just arrived and has joined us today. We thought it was important to have him on the panel because we are going to be discussing the multi-million naira industry that everyone is ignoring. And since he owns this resort, he's going to talk to us as somebody who's practicing and who's enjoying a share of that multi-million naira cake. Hopefully he will tell us how to also enter into the business so we can join him. Yes, and then to my left, we have Awofeso, who is many things. Today, I think first and foremost, Pelu is here because of his position as co-founder of Beach Samaritans. By the way, Beach Samaritans is 7 this year. We've been cleaning beaches around Lagos for the past 7 years. And we're happy to stage this conference. This is our second conference. The first one was in 2019. So we've gone around cleaning beaches around Lagos and we're looking forward to doing other things. Maybe even cleaning beaches outside Lagos. However, we've cleaned beaches, we've planted trees, we're going to keep doing those. But then we thought the beach is not just a place to have fun. I know we've all had fun today, right? And we're still going to have more fun. But this beach is not just a place to have fun. And even to have fun on the beach, somebody has to administer the beach. Somebody has to make sure that the place is nice enough for you to come in and settle down and have fun and feel safe. So that's a business on its own. We decided to now discuss the possibility of, that business becoming more blooming for those who are doing it, to even show people that it actually can be a business. And every other thing that can happen to be a business off the beat. So we've also done things like recycling workshops, upcycling workshops. That's for Beach Samaritans. Today, what we're discussing is the multi-millionaire industry that everybody is ignoring. That's the beach industry. I'd like us to start by listening to Mr. Awofeso, who's Adams, who's a practitioner in this industry. Let's hear from him. Let him tell us what's the industry like? Is it something you enjoy others going to? Is it easy for easy for you? Hello? Is it something you're just doing because of a passion? Or really, do you have a lot of people coming to enjoy this country?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. First and foremost, I'd like to thank you all for coming. I know you probably all have other things to do today and all of that, but more importantly, let me celebrate the passion you have for this industry, because it's, as you know, anything this time is for. But then we must find a way to enjoy ourselves, and then we must find a way to make money and survive as well. So to answer your question, of course, the bulk of it is passion. And it's passion from knowing that it's a privilege to live in Lagos where the entire coastline is there for you to harness this opportunity, either for fun or commercially. I'll give you one example. When we started building this building, the workmen that came, it was always the struggle to get them to work. They would be on the every day. So we asked them, why are you people not doing your work? They said, we're from Kwara State, we've never seen the ocean before. And things like that you take for granted when you see everything. But it's something to celebrate. No, it's not the best scenario. We all say, oh, Dubai, oh, this and that. But those people don't have the critical mass of people like we do. They don't have the passion like we do for our own things. And that's why, for me at least, I decided that it's something that is worth harnessing. Even if it's just for the reason to open up opportunities for others. And as you can see, we do the beach, there's the food, there's bikes, there's horses, there's gifts. It's a whole lot of things that opportunities that create. When we were here, the rest of this place was bush. And people used to wonder, why have you come here and you're alone? First and foremost, the first thing you realize is that the community will accommodate you. Why? Because we give jobs to the community. They are our lifeguards. So they too are happy to have you here for as long as there's that mutual relationship. So that, to a certain degree, sorts the issue of security and your community. Because they too want to see growth, and they know you have the capacity, you have the content, and they can't do that. But they've got the manpower to help support that. So for as long as there's that mutual relationship, so it grows. And like I said, and this is where the opportunity lies. When we started off, we were only one here for miles. The next place was Atikan. And that always used to be the comparison or the how we direct people to this place. So over the years, we have grown. Other places have, we have good and people are doing things all around because we're here. So you find that once one person starts, it's an opportunity to grow. And like I said, different things. There are people that actually have houses now that are looking for people to help them manage. They have beachfront land. They're looking for people to help them manage it. If any of you have passion for that, it's something that we can connect you with them, and then you see how you can. The reality is that it takes a while to grow. Money just doesn't come like that. You must develop a product that people want to buy into. There are different beaches, and you find that what we offer here is different from what they offer next door. So it's about what the customer wants. And once you keep at trying to find out what the customer wants, you can now tailor your business to that. That's the bit I have to say on that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I particularly like what you said about the community embracing. Immediately you said it. You know what I remember? The very first time that Beach Samaritans went to Pelu Beach. Those of you who've been with us for the past 7 years remember this. We went to what's it called, Okun Alpha. And the community members gave us a very, very tough time, you know, before they allowed us to clean their beach. But they were asking us to give them money because they thought somebody had paid us to go clean their beach. And we'll come back to that conversation. So let me hear from you, Efe. What do you think? What's your take on this? Do you think Nigerians are ready for this industry? Do you think that we appreciate it, one? Do you think we can afford it, two? Do you think we are ready to embrace it and make it a booming industry?
Yes, I think the answer is a very big yes. And in fact, when you look at the history of Nigeria, I think the beach is what we have embraced the most. If you look back to days of Alpha Beach, to Rama Beach, I mean, there were those days where we used to have Kenny and Kenny's music and go stay in those massive concerts. So, when you look at it, for every holiday, every public holiday that you find in Lagos, you have practically all of Lagos to the beach. So yes, we love the beach, and like Bella said, water don't get any. So the beach is one of those tourism attractions that naturally, as a people, because it is calming. It has that feel to it that but the stuff is, I think we have just not maximized the potential that we have with our beaches. So when you drive through this coastline, for example, all the way from Nigeria down to Cote d'Ivoire, you have the same Atlantic Ocean, and you ask ourselves, why is it that we don't have as much beach resorts on the Nigerian end, like you find Ghana and I mean, the country has very lovely resorts at the beach, you know. Most of what we have done, perhaps also because of our peculiar nature as a people, we are the Owambe type, so we come to the beach to have fun during the day, but there's a lot more in that whole big value chain that we can tie in. And that's one of the reasons why we have this kind of conference. Look at those ideas. What do we need to do a lot more? Like Tim says, the multi-billion naira industry everyone is enjoying. So every other part of the world, there is so much money for tourism that was not. Let me give you a typical example. How many of us have heard of there's this party island in one country? Who knows that there's one small island that is very popular for beach parties? There's a very small island. That name in my head now, but there's a very small island that's very popular for beach parties.
Jamaica.
Huh?
Jamaica.
What?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Yeah, but Jamaica is a country.
Hawaii.
It's one very small
Hawaii.
island.
Mauritius.
Huh? It's not Hawaii.
Maldives.
Yeah, but these are countries. There's one very small island. Huh?
Maldives is a country.
Ibiza.
It's an island. An island.
Have you guys heard of Ibiza before? Now Ibiza is, you know, Ibiza is not as, it's like, it's like Takwabi.
They say it's Ibiza. So.
But what Ibiza makes from the beach is almost as much as the Nigerian GDP, the Nigerian budget. So the stuff is, they have been able to make a product from their beach. Today it is one of the most popular party attractions. It's just, there's a movie about Ibiza. I think it's titled Ibiza as well. You just go there to have fun. So the beach resorts where you can spend the night, where you can have parties, just party. Now, why are we not doing the same with our beaches? Why are we just coming to have parties and going to eat? You know, there's so much to do. And the important thing about what we're talking about today is how do we make more money from what we're doing? You know, most of us are in the tourism industry, and when COVID hit, I said earlier on that big properties and big businesses had a little bit of a shock absorber because this is the outdoors. You know, you cannot just go wrong with the beach. So let's look at those ideas, how we can do a lot more with our beaches. Let's do a lot more with letting Nigerians know about the potential. I think that's our biggest problem with tourism. People just don't know. You know, so there are lots of advantages over coming to the beach. For example, you know, Maja and going to all of those rowdy beaches there. Here, you can have all of the privacy and all of the. Imagine coming with a family or coming here, for example, for a reunion, maybe your secondary school mates or look at that setting that we made there. We purposely had that setting before we moved here because of the power issue. That setting was for a beach wedding. Everywhere else in the world, people have weddings on the beaches. I mean, destination, one of the most popular places for destination weddings are beachfront. So you have that lovely setting, and then all with flowers and stuff, and then people go have beach. I think that we've had less than 100 weddings, beach weddings in this country since 1900. Anybody can prove me wrong, but we don't use it. So why do we do these things? You know, how about souvenirs for the beach? Everywhere else in the world where you go, there are souvenirs. And well, let me not talk too much because I will, because that's what I was saying.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. So if you're here and you want to put things on social media, pictures or glimpses, patches of our conversation, maybe on Instagram, Facebook. I know that we're not allowed to use Twitter unless you are non-conformist like some of us. But please, if you're putting things on social media, kindly put a hashtag BS Beach Conference, hashtag Nigeria Travel Week, hashtag Beach Samaritans, tag Beach Samaritans, tag Nigeria Travel Week. I'll take that again. Hashtag BS Beach Conference, hashtag Nigeria Travel Week, hashtag Beach Samaritans, tag at Beach Samaritans, at Nigeria Travel Week, at Loving Lagos. Do we have a handle on Instagram? Just Loving Lagos Beach or Loving Lagos? At Loving Lagos. Thank you very much. So if it says something else, like, it doesn't know why we don't have weddings on the beach. Is it that we don't know? Me, I think that some people are afraid of Mami water to come and jump out when they are waiting. I don't know. That's what I'm afraid of. But I'm thinking, I hear all of this. We have so many beaches in Lagos. The whole, Lagos is an island, right? There's water all around Lagos, everywhere. Even I am from Akwa Ibom State, and I know that we are at the bottom of Nigeria. But it's only a small portion of Akwa Ibom that is at the bottom of Nigeria, Lagos has so much water. I didn't know we had this many beaches until I joined Beach Samaritans, and we started going around, even going by boats to some beaches, I wonder, why is it that we're not utilizing all these water bodies? Pelu? Why is it that Lagos State doesn't utilize, all these beach fronts that we have? What do you think is the reason, and what do you think are the things that can be done to change this narrative?
Thank you, everybody. Thanks again for joining us for this beach conference. Before I go ahead and answer your question, I think it's important for me to quickly take us back to what our keynote speaker had to say during the first beach, because in 2019, and that was the person of Desmond Matekodomi. Maybe some of us know about him. And basically what he said was, our beaches, our coastlines are essentially gold mines. It's a gold mine that we have in the country, and he fails to understand why an entire country continues to destroy its gold mine. It's a gift from, it's for like a third other countries have mined millions from. How come a country like ours, with 800 plus kilometers of coastline, isn't doing so much, to tap into this coastline? Lagos has about 180 kilometers of coastline on one side, and there could be 160 plus kilometers on the other side. So there's this long stretch, of coastline and waterway. Why are we not doing much about it? Why is the government at the state level, at the federal government level, not seeing the potential of these things? I know that Lagos State earlier in this year presented its master plan. That master plan is supposed to cover the next 25 years or something. And one of the key areas of interest is beach tourism. All right, the strategic part of that master plan. And then you just wonder, it's okay to actually identify the resource that you have and say we want to tap into it in the next 10 to 20 years. But again, we've had governments in this state for 20 years before now. I honestly don't know why. Again, there's something about the water depth in Lagos. For example, we were coming, if you were in the bus this morning, bringing us, if you had observed, you will see that the lagoon waters was just so scenic. It was beautiful to see the waterways of Lagos with the high rises but I think it should be a common sight that Lagosians should be seen on the water, either on a ferry or on a ship or whatever, just enjoying the waters of the city. The waters are supposed to be our own break from the traffic of Monday to Friday. Okay, but the waters are just there, we don't see ourselves there. The only time you see people use the waterways are because of the commercial transportation that we have, taking people from CMS to Ikorodu, from CMS to around. We don't even have a ferry service in South Agri. Many people will know is Lagos's #1 tourist destination. Why should a city that have Badagry in its arsenal not even think about making Badagry an urgent destination for water services? You know, so it's better. Hello? Okay. Taking water resource. Okay, I mean, I really don't have an answer to it. Maybe if we have been fortunate to have been able to bring the Commissioner for Tourism in Lagos here, or the Commissioner for the Environment, that question is actually, better directed at the government official. The private sector, like Mr. Lawon Adams, are doing their own bit, with minimum resources, with private resources, to develop this coastline. And there are a couple of them coming up. As a matter of fact, this area is becoming a resort axis for Lagos State. It's a beautiful thing, but we can do more with that axis. There's so much, there's all these ways to expect the mangrove. There's just so much going on. And then you just wonder, why are we not stepping up again? Statistics say that 50% of the world's population live in coastal areas. And coastal areas are locations like this that are like 60 kilometers from the waterways. Okay, so we have, imagine half of the world is living close to the coast. So the rest of the world, Ibiza you mentioned, Efe, there's Malta, there's the Canary Islands, there's Cyprus, there's Sicily. Beach tourism is one of their top earners. As a matter of fact, in the Mediterranean, 350 million people go to those places every year because of all of this. And I'll just start by saying, Mr. Majekoto made a comparison between our beaches in Nigeria and the beaches in the West, especially in the UK, where he was at some point. They saw people jumping all over the place in an artificial beach without trees. All right? They have an artificial beach without trees, without sand. But here we are blessed with all of these things naturally. All our beaches have coconut. Our beaches have natural sand. What exactly is the problem with us as Nigerians? And then, so it's the reason why we do the beach conference. We want to put attention to the potentials of our beaches and why we need to do more. Again, underscoring that is the impact it will have on the coast community and the immediate environment. Imagine if we were using our beaches more and more profitably. All the people around the coastline will be the best people to ensure that nothing goes wrong with those investments. So I'll just keep it here for now. If the question comes my way again before we end, I will say more. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pelu. From what you said, it sounds to me like I wouldn't blame the government. I think it would be to encourage more private individuals to take up the challenge and invest in this industry. Because the government is not going to invest. They can give the policies and enabling environment for the industry to thrive. But it is individuals like Mr. Adams here who will say, okay, I'm going to spend money and build up this beach. Build a couple of rooms, have space, have gardens around the beaches apart from the sand, apart from where people can catch fun, and just have a resort that is family friendly or whatever. But you see, I'm wondering now, those who, for him, you're in this business already. So is it something that, do you have people who come to who come to the resort on a daily basis or are there specific periods where it's more busy?
Thank you. Like I said, you decide what aspect of the business you want to focus on. So for us, we do not do the everyday gate fee beach. Because as you know, loving Lagos is we do a lot of things. So, and we're careful not stretching ourselves beyond capacity. And that's one of the opportunities. Anybody here that feels that they can manage that kind of, come to us. We'll have a conversation about it. One other thing I'd like, before I answer, and remind me about that question, but there are a couple of things that I want to also address. Now, Beach Samaritans, Anonymous, clean environment, and all of that. I think we should make a commitment to ourselves. Because you can't fight this battle by not you yourself being convinced. Take for instance, plastic bottles. I believe in this kind of conference, you should not even allow it. So once you make that, you either come with your cups and we serve you water, or you come in bottled, reusable. So there's something, there are days that you come to this beach and you will almost be in tears. It is packed with rubbish, plastic. And when you imagine you're bringing someone, as they always say, you say, Lagos, you bring someone and they see that. How do you convince anybody about it? But the truth is that we have challenges. And we have to be real about those challenges, from security to all the problems we have. And then even our climate, it doesn't really particularly help. You can understand why you have to start this in the evening, because of the sun. It's too sunny. It's harsh. Our weather is harsh and all of that. But that doesn't mean that it makes us any less. It's just that we have to walk through our challenges. For instance, Anele Bushi Beach, it thrives at night. There's a reason why it does so. When the weather is cool and when people are calm and when people are back from work, they found a way around that. So if we're going to start our beaches in the evening, there are places in Greece that they shut down for the year, for 6 months, and they only make their money from the other 6 months. Everything in the beach, the hotels, everything, they shut down completely because of the weather as well, because of the weather they have there. It gets really cold and all of that, and it's not ideal for them. So once you understand our problems, the other problem you have is the receding coastline. It will continue to happen. And that's why you'd find that further down you have like a landmark that has beach protection. Everybody can afford beach protection. We're here today, we're trying to discuss opportunities. And so for some of you, you'll be scared when they start to say multi-billion-naira investment, and you're thinking, how am I going to come in all this multi-billion-naira investment? But it takes thinking. I'm thinking, why can't you start an Airbnb for beaches? And you go to every beach on the coastline and say, let me put you guys out and I get a commission. Why can't you start a picture-taking point on all the beaches and say, this is mine, I bring people there, you get this commission, you get that, you get that. There are different ideas once you apply yourself and you think about it. For us, the beach owners, would rather have other people drive the business to us. We don't want to be involved in that process, and we share the profits with you. So there are opportunities there. Now, this is Lagos, this is Nigeria. I would say there's no government, but then you really have to get up and think for yourselves and take on the opportunities. All you need is the contact sometimes, the link up, the meeting people, and then you run with it from there. And this is what this kind of opportunity provides. Nobody will come to me from Beach Samaritans or from Nigeria Travel Week or whatever. And I will not listen to them or even take them to other beach owners to say, listen to these people, they might have a good idea for us. And then you see, it's time bound. We cannot stop the ocean from receding. You've heard all the very drastic predictions they've said about coastlines and all of that. So what are we going to do? Do we just sit by and watch the coastline erode? We'll make the best of it for as long as it is. So that is why you see that there's a lot less heavy investment, maybe like a Hilton or whatever, all these big names, because there's a problem with the coastline, like you said. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't enjoy ourselves. But we can have smaller investments that you can group in a shorter time before the coastline moves in, or before government thinks of a solution, or before the whole world decides to save our beaches by doing the right thing, by slowing down global warming and all of that. So please remind me about the question again. I want to ask that. Yes, like I said, we specialize in giving out our space for events, group functions, and things like that. We don't do the one everyday, one person per head gate fee thing. And like I said, it's because we want to focus on other things. But we're happy to partner with people that want. Christmas is coming. We've had a couple already. There was one last night, late last night to this morning. We're a bit even worried about making sure the place is clean enough for you guys to come in. So you'd have us, and then this is the season. There's also the opportunity that a lot more people want to have outdoor events because of COVID. It's clearly safer and all of that. So those opportunities exist. We just focus on group parties, weddings, things like that are group events. That's our focus.
Thank you very much. You guys have all heard it. Bring your business here. Yes, you make your money and you share the cost. Very important. Thank you very much, Mr. Adam. So I wonder, does anybody in the audience have a question you'd like to ask any of our panelists? I like the idea of having parties here. I really love it.
Beach wedding.
I'm sure that everybody here is waiting. People should finish talking. Let's go and enjoy the beach. Abby, I can see it on your face. Okay, so last words. Any last words? Pelu? Oh, you want to please come forward?
Good afternoon, everyone. I was very thrilled about the whole idea of coastal cleanup, saving our coastal areas, saving the beaches and all. So you mentioned the fact that you have this contact with other beach owners around here. I wanted to know if there is probably like an association for probably the beach owners or people that are in this line of business that can actually move the government to make policies that can save the coastal areas or the beach areas around Lagos, basically. Thank you.
Okay, any other question? So the question is, do you have a group, an association that can do some kind of advocacy with the government? Whether it's policy or anything else. You have the question? Okay, the mic should go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, panelists, for answering our questions so far. My question is on insecurity in our tourism industry. I'm talking from a East African perspective in terms of tourism and how the tourism industry has grown from Kenya to Tanzania to Rwanda to Uganda, and how it has been a very massive addition to their economic GDP. And looking at the fact that Nigeria is missing out in that industry, solely on insecurity, what do you think we could do outside of the government? The government, we're talking about Kenya, for example. We have Africans and diasporas that come into the region every day to actually get married, to actually have the destination wedding by the beachside. It is not new over there. And we're also trying to promote such. But to do that, we actually need to work on insecurity. Because without security, I don't think anybody will actually be secure enough to say they want to come to a country to come and have a destination wedding, for example. So how do you think, as an hotelier, as a resort owner, how do you think we can improve security to actually create confidence in these hotels and how they can actually come and patronize us and improve the tourism opportunity in Nigeria? Thank you.
Okay. Any more questions? No. So, sir.
Okay. We'll always I think for now we'll always have this security problem hanging over, and I think COVID and the recent security challenges have made it very clear to us that security or no security, we're stuck here. We must find a way to make it work. And I'll give you an instance. When I came in, I traveled and I came back in yesterday. And the walk from the airport terminal to the car park, I noticed at a point there wasn't anybody, it was dark. And then there were these young men. All they wanted to do was help you to push your car. But you know how they can be aggressive and not ready to take no for an answer. But it's okay for someone like me. For instance, there were some ladies, not even Nigerians, East Africans, that came for a conference in Lagos. They were petrified. They were really scared. Two of them ran back into the terminal building. Now, for you, the average Nigerian man, they're like, bring it on, But really, it's a challenge. And it's because we can be so dismissive of those incidences. That's why it keeps happening. And then, so when you walk further down, you now see the taxi cabs. So I was just thinking, what if the taxi people are challenged to make sure that that channel is clear, such that people can walk down and with restful minds come to them and say, Cabo. But when they're already charged up on their way in, of course, they won't even be thinking about that. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that our challenges will be our challenges. Of course, government, we keep shouting, we keep screaming, but we must leave, we must move on. So we must keep doing. And I think what is important, like this, and I keep referring to things like this, is it gathers like minds, people that share a passion. People could be doing different things now. People are sleeping from church, but just to come here, it's a commitment. So when you take it a step further and say, what do I do? I was just thinking, what if the government just, puts together like a force of 1,000, 2,000 people and say, you people go and stay at the airport and make sure that things are done the way it should be done. They will do it for free, but government doesn't know that. There are people that will volunteer to do it for free. If people come here and say the coastline, we want to make sure people are not taking sand from the beach, and people are doing, I'm sure you guys, some of you, for what you can at least, you will, but government doesn't know that. I think you need to let government know that you're able to do that for nothing as volunteers, and even test run that for them so they see. Because the fear will be, how much will these people come and say they want now? Which party are they? Are they APC? Are they PDP? Are they whatever? That's the reality. But the bottom line is that we just want to live our lives, enjoy, such that when they are sending photos from Dubai and New York and showing beaches, people will show them back. Say, in our own way too, we are fun. So the responsibility is ours. I'm not saying let everybody leave room for government, but there's a lot of work for us to do. Just hook up with the right people. If you find people that are slowing you down, move on. Don't waste your time. Hook up with the right people. Grow a community that works. When it works, people will come and want to join your community with everything they have. Their money, their assets, their everything. And that's when you know you have a good product. Regarding the group, it's the same thing, like I said. When we got in here, we were practically the only ones. But over time now, we've had groups like some of the beaches. You've noticed that it's even a challenge to get here sometimes. It could be, there are times that the sand gets so bad that it's a problem. Some of our guests will come and say their cars are broken down. We're like, it's not part of our contract. You had the option of going to Ilashare or other beaches. The opportunities offers you. It means that people can come at any time. It's not the one that you hire one boat. If you miss the boat, that's the end. So everything comes with plus and minus. Minus is the sand. But we're getting back. So the association, we're trying to do a road tar, the road, do life. So that's where it started from. It didn't start as government because, yes, there's government, it's a long term, but you have an immediate, which is to make your place conducive and accessible enough. So we have a few, and then obviously being beach owners, we meet each other in different places as well, whereby we share ideas. So if there's anything that we need to do as a group, but we're very realistic. We won't get up and say we want to charge the government for that. For instance, this entire coastline is on the blueprint of government for tourism industry. But the truth is that all the services that are supposed to come here first before those people can come and make those investments, they're not here. So what do we do? People have been sitting on properties here for years, for decades. If you all the properties, it's not that they're not, they have allotted them out to people 10, 15 years ago to do beach resorts. But it's not just viable. It hasn't been viable. So it's people like us that start, for instance, here now, decided people will come and say we want to spend the night. Say, well, we don't have accommodation, and it's deliberate. When we have enough critical mass, enough people making such inquiries, we do that. And then secondly, like I said, restrict yourself to where your strength is. There's a guy building hotels there. We're happy to partner with them and share business. Then people might want to use the bridge we might have people that want to use it, and that's where partnerships come in. We don't have to do everything. Thank you.
So, if any last word, maybe you want to also speak to us about the idea of having organizations or groups as a tourism operator.
Yes, but let me quickly talk about the question of security and then one thing about individual responsibilities. So, like Mr. Lawon said, these beaches that we have are property. There's a reason why the world is designed the way it is. So if you go to every part of the world, there are unique and peculiar attractions or what's it called, environments. I think that God has created every area in the world with its own unique characteristics so that you can earn a living. Life is such that you can make a living from wherever you are. So you go to places where there are mountains, you go to places where there are beaches, places where there are waterfalls. It is deliberate. Because our bodies are deliberate. There's a reason why you have two eyes. You could have had one. Or 1 ear. So it's deliberate. I think it's deliberate. Now the question is, what are we doing with the gifts that we have been given by God? Why are we not taking advantage? So it's our individual and collective responsibilities to make sure that we make a noise about it. I think we don't own our beauties well enough. So if there is a bad message on WhatsApp, for example, 99% of us will quickly share to all of our friends and families. True or false? But how many times do you see photos and videos of a beautiful beach that we share to the same number of people? So is it that it's a cost or that we are bad news mongers? If you are a bad news monger, we have to. But we have to. I think it's a mindset that we have to deliberately change. So we don't need government to start that kind of stuff, but every time you see something beautiful, especially with what we're talking about now, beaches, make it a point of duty to share it. You don't know who else will be inspired, because we're talking about employment for our people, and then you're talking about the security stuff that he mentioned. So I always say to people that we may have security problems, but our problems are not as much as all of the other countries we want to go to. So what has just happened is that now we have social media, and now we have a lot more. The things that happen now shock us because they were not happening before, because we were so much better before. Now let's give you scenarios. We don't have CCTV cameras around Nigeria, do we? Every other developed country that you go to, you have cameras almost every corner that you turn to. And yet there's still crime. Now imagine that without these cameras, these things that cover us, that these things that would definitely deter you from crime, we still have so little, our numbers are still not as much. Go and check the statistics of crime in places like Chicago, for example. Far more, the only Chicago is far more than the crime in Lagos. But we tell ourselves at every instance, we tell ourselves, oh, our security problem is what? The truth is, we're not checking our numbers. So we're always happy to tell people we have security problems. But go do the math, you see that we don't. Yes, we could do better, but doing better also means that we must be promoting our good side. Because when there's tourism, then we have a lot more people. Then people have jobs. When people have jobs, how many people have the time to do crime and vices? It's a vicious circle. So we must be very careful to always put forward our best and say to people, look, we're wonderful people, we have good potential, we have beautiful beaches, and let people come. 95% of people travel out of Nigeria only go and tell people, you won't come to Nigeria, what do you want to come and do in Nigeria? Sometimes I feel like flooding them because the stuff is, I don't know any other country in the world where you tell people, don't come to my house. Yeah. My house is a very dirty house. My house is, everybody has their problems. Let's use the case of Kenya, as you mentioned, East Africa. Kenya had to develop domestic tourism. And in 2017, we had a visitor from Kenya for Nigeria Travel who told us
how they were able to grow domestic tourism to 45% of Kenyans. You know why? Because they also had security challenges. And the Western world will be happy to paint you black. You like to be black, Abi? CNN will carry your news and give you all of it. They don't carry half. There's a video. All of you following social media. Well, this week we're going to post a video by Akon about crime in this and how the Western world covers their crime and everything. But only a few gets to the media. But every day there are tens of deaths and all of that, all in the US and other Western countries. So what are we doing to ourselves? So please let us have a mindset that we have a beautiful country. We have lots of potentials for business, because when you don't see those potentials, when your whole mindset is blocked, then you only see trouble. Then you are only not seeing all of it. Then you are not seeing the business potentials that we have here, and that's what we want to do. Now look at all of the times you go on social media and you hear that a whale has been killed, or there's been not this year at least there's been at least 3 of those kind of instances where we kill. This is the only country in the world where you would go and see people killing a whale. I mean, these are the most dolphins. Dolphins are the most lovable creatures. People, a human being will now only think of
Pepper soup.
for dolphins. Now, you've heard of dolphins. When you're on the water and anything happens to you,
You saw the one they caught now, around November. Yeah. They caught another one in November.
This month.
We see
October.
There was one in Port Harcourt.
In River State there. They caught another one. A
So we have these
dolphin.
things. The rest of the world is making money from them. Kenya, sorry, not Kenya. Rwanda charges $1,500 to see one gorilla. Gorilla tracking permits. Do the math. That's about almost 800,000 naira.
Yes.
You are not carrying the gorilla to your house, so
Just to see.
you are just snapping selfies with the gorillas. They have learned how to make money with their tractors. How are we making money with what we have? So we have dolphins in our waters, we have whales, we have all kinds of marine. Do you know there's a scuba diving company in Lagos where you can go and do scuba diving and see and go to the bottom of the ocean? All of these things are, most of the people enjoying these things are foreigners, white guys, and go to landmark, you see all of the white, they are enjoying it, but we are like moving day, sleeping on bicycles.
So this sounds to me like we don't know. So like our number one duty should be to spread this information, spread the information, so that people will know that there is scuba. What did you call it? Scuba. Do you know what scuba diving is? Those who don't know will know that there's a scuba diving school in Lagos. Maybe they will go to the school if it will be affordable. Since it's for white people now. We need to spread information so that Nigerians will stop killing whales and dolphins. It's not pepper soup. So spread information. Thank you very much, Efe. I think the Green Queen wanted to say something. Green Queen, this is your opportunity, last chance. Green Queen, microphone for you. Now she's doing shakara and catwalking down. Okay, so after the Green Queen speaks to us, well, we will get last words from Pelu, Awofeso, and then that will be it. Then you can go to the beach and catch fun.
No, sorry. Do we have the house captains? Do you have your players for the volleyball?
Yes.
Yes, please. So we need the list of those players. We need to start with volleyball so we can end that before we go to the beach. Once we go to the beach, it's overtime. So we're doing beach volleyball. We're going to. We also have a race, relay race. And what's the last one? Okay, we've got the dancing competition. So we're doing those ones, and then we'll have a raffle, a general raffle for all of us. So one person will be winning a weekend stay in a 5-star hotel in Lagos, complete with a trip to Takwa Bay. One person will win that one, so be ready for that. We'll also have one bag. Courtesy Arit Oge, a beautiful leather crafted strap bag. That will also come with a beach bag as well as a Nigerian Travel Week t-shirt. So that one is loaded for one person as well. And I think there will be a few more t-shirts to go around. So let's start with the beach volleyball. 10 minutes each. Let's play, and then those who are not playing also get us a list of 4 people each per house who will also do the relay race. Just a small race to have fun. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much. I was going to add something to what I said. You know, sometimes when you want to do something, the first thing that comes to your mind is, I don't have money. Hello, hello, and I go, thank you. One of the most popular, most hardworking tourism personnel I know. I go all the way from Badagry. Put your hands together for you. Absolutely fantastic person. Okay, they say you have money. Well, someone just said something. You need to do is just volunteer. You know that sometimes when there's traffic, then you see people just come out. They're not government people, nobody's paying them, they just come out and they start controlling the traffic and easing it up. So he said something about security at the airport. Something that, you know, even from here, we can actually think about how we can volunteer to help ease that insecurity. And you know what could come out of it? So I was sitting and just thought about it. Somewhere along the line, someone can just call you and just say, can you organize security for us? And then you now start getting paid for it. So you start off with passion. You start off providing a service for free. And from there, you get noticed. And then somewhere along the line, somebody wants to pay you. And I'll just give you an example. Okay, so I love Afrocentric things. People know that about me. And when people ask, where do I get this from? Or I have this, I usually give it for free. And then I get people to say, oh, but I want to buy it. I never wanted to get into business. I don't see myself as a business person. I don't love Afrocentric things, and I like to wear it. And and I keep giving, and I keep giving. And then at the end of the day, people want to buy. And then what has happened? It's become a business. So now I run a business called Arid Shoge that's going to be giving out prizes, some of the prizes today. It's something I love to do. From loving something, from doing it for free, it has become a business and I'm able to sustain myself from. So let's not always think about money. Money will come. Be passionate about whatever you want to do. Be consistent about what to do. Be sincere. And like I said, just find your niche. This place is not where a lot of people don't know it because it's not open to the public. It's not like the beaches, just everybody just comes in and charges a fee. No, he has decided what he wants. It's exclusive. And that's why it is I appreciated him allowing us to use this place. That is his niche. Find your own niche. Mine is Ashoke and Adire, period. Nothing else. That is my niche. So find your own niche. Do it with all your heart. Find where it is you belong in the tourism, hospitality, service industry. And the sky is your beginning. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Green Queen. And with that, we've come to the end of the conference. Now it's time to properly chill. So now we're on to games. But before then, we should all get together. Let's take a picture.